a very warm welcome in the ADGF CME today. The topic of the day is the carbicin, the role in preventing PPH, a new drug in our armamentarium. And our speaker is Dr. Geeta Mediratta, and we have our experts with us, Dr. Uma Rai, Dr. Ela Gupta, Dr. Jyoti Bhaskar, Dr. Vandana Gupta, and Dr. Meena Harisinghani. Dr. Uma Rai, ma'am, is a patron of Delhi Gynae Forum East. Ma'am, everyone knows, ma'am is ex-professor of Lady Hardinge Medical College. Dr. Ela Gupta, ma'am, is a senior consultant at Next Hospital, Vaishali in Patparganj. Ma'am has been practicing in East Delhi for more than 30 years. She's a founder, member and past president of DGF East and a past vice president and editor of IME East Delhi branch. And we have our president with us, Dr. Jyoti Bhaskar, ma'am. She's a principal consultant at Apollo Cradle, Indrapuram. She's the president of Delhi Gynae Forum East currently and a co-chairperson of AODD subcommittee. And we have Dr. Vandana Gupta, ma'am, with us. Ma'am is currently vice president of East Delhi Gynae Forum. And she's a senior consultant of Max Hospital, Patparganj. And Dr. Meena Harisinghani, ma'am, she's a senior consultant in East Delhi. She's a medical director of SMS Hospital in East Delhi, and she's executive member of Delhi Gynae Forum East and ex-vice president of IMA East Delhi branch. And the speaker of the day is Dr. Geeta Mediratta. Ma'am is a senior consultant in the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology in Gangaram Hospital. She has a special interest in urogynecology, and she's chairperson of urogynecology subcommittee of AOGD. So I will be presenting the slides for Dr. Geeta, ma'am. Dr. Geeta, ma'am, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Meenakshi, and it is indeed a great honor for me to be sitting in front of my great teacher, Dr. Sharda Jain, and talking. Indeed, it's really, I am loss of words, Meenakshi, what to say. My supreme teacher is listening to me. It's ma'am, thank you, and बहुत आपका शुक्रिया, धन्यवाद. So, and dear chairpersons, welcome. And Meenakshi will be changing my slides due to some technical problem. I am unable to do it. So can you just change my slide? Huh? So now, as we all know, PPH in India, that's the leading cause of maternal deaths. And if you see, the prevalence in India is 38%. And a whopping 56% of maternal deaths are due to PPH. Next. Now, definition, we all know, more than 500 ml after a vaginal delivery or more than 1000 ml following a cesarean delivery. Or even if you don't consider this, any amount of blood loss, say a woman is 6 grams, even a 250 ml blood loss will make her go into shock. So any amount of blood loss within 24 hours after birth, as evidenced by a rise in pulse rate and falling blood pressure. And a primary PPH is when she bleeds within 24 hours of delivery, secondaries between 24 hours plus to 12 weeks after delivery. And now causes the traditional 4 T's, which we always say: tone, tissue, trauma, and thrombin, out of which, as you can see, atonic uterus accounts for nearly 70% of all the postpartum hemorrhages we face. Trauma in the form of lacerations, hematomas, inversion of a uterus. You know, we have seen patients coming with the thigh having pulled out the undetached placenta with a rupture and inversion. Tissue is retained tissue, invasive placenta, and thrombin is the coagulopathy, which is only 1%. So atonic uterus is the commonest cause of postpartum hemorrhage. Next. Now the risk factors, again, I don't have to tell this august gathering. We all know any woman with a prolonged labor or a precipitate labor, any grand multipara, any patient who has a history of PPH, or she has an overdistended uterus like twins, polyhydramnios, macrosomia, or a patient undergoing operative delivery, forceps, vacuum, history of chorioamnionitis, etc. Now, what does the WHO say? It develops this active management of third stage of labor for preventing PPH. We are all very familiar with the 3 components, which are uterine massage, which includes simultaneous uterotonic agent administration and controlled cord traction. Next. So we all know about this prophylactic administration of uterotonic is a pillar of the active management of third stage of labor, and it reduces, by various studies have shown, AMTSL reduces PPH by 50%. Next. And cesarean deliveries, as we all know, and Ma'am Sharda Jain also always talks about this, they have become an epidemic in India as a 300% jump in the incidence compared to what the WHO threshold of 15%. And as we know, PPH is more common in cesarean, 6% compared to vaginal, where it is only 2 to 4%. Next. Now, PPH is more likely to happen after cesarean compared to vaginal, and of all, as per the report by Anesthesia Journal, 36% of cesarean deliveries are complicated by PPH. Next. So, it is a very common practice to give uterotonic agents following delivery of the neonate during cesarean section. We will see how it is done. So, according to the International Consensus Statement on the use of uterotonic agents during C-section in 2019, it was recommended that oxytocin/carbetocin be routinely administered after the delivery of the baby during cesarean section. Next. So, why? How does it act? So, it diminishes the risk of PPH and improves the maternal safety. Next. So, we can divide the uterotonic agents into three. One are the posterior pituitary hormone and analogs, our very familiar oxytocin and carbetocin. Both are posterior pituitary hormone analogs. Then you have the ergot alkaloids, which cause very strong vasoconstriction. And here we have ergometrin and methyl ergometrin. And we have prostaglandin analogs, namely prostaglandin E2, which is in the gel form, prostaglandin E1, which is misoprostol, and prostaglandin F2 alpha, which is carboprost, which are all available in our armamentarium. First line agents, of course, are oxytocin and carbetocin. If they fail, then you can depend on the second line, which are ergots and prostaglandins. Next. And of course, all these years, oxytocin has been considered as a gold standard treatment for the prevention of PPH till, yes, next slide. But the only problem with oxytocin was that its half-life is very short, only 4 to 10 minutes, and it acts for only 15 to 20 minutes. Therefore, all of us obstetricians know that we have to give it in a continuous drip form to attain a sustained uterine activity, uterotonic activity throughout the post-delivery, post-cesarean time. And also the most important thing which we all faced is you have given 6 units, 8 units, nothing, 20 units, nothing is happening because of desensitization, because it desensitizes the oxytocin receptors after a certain time, and therefore it will stop acting after a certain time, especially if a patient has bled a lot, she is anemic. So these oxytocin does not act much on an anemic uterus. It has no contractile activity. Next. So various international bodies and trials have also recommended different doses of oxytocin, and also there is no consistency in the dosage regimen, which results in errors in administration. Also, and this is, I want to specifically stress on this, that the Institute of Safe Medication Practices has added IV oxytocin to their list of high alert medications, meaning that even minor errors in, say, the dose or the drop rate can cause significant harm to the patient. So that's one big problem with this. And also, I must point out that this, which was on the newspapers also recently, that oxytocin has been used indiscriminately in the dairy farming sector as a lactation enhancers to increase milk production amongst the milch animals. And also, it's been used to increase the size, speed up the ripening of the fruits and vegetables by converting the starch to sugars. So this is really a cause of deterioration of health of milch cattle, and this is a misuse, rather, I should say. So there was this oxytocin ban notification because of these complaints of the misuse. The Union of India issued, or rather prohibited, the private sector companies, and we all faced this acute shortage of oxytocin. There was a time in between when there was no oxytocin because the private sector companies were prohibited, excepting one state-run Karnataka Antibiotics and Pharmaceuticals, which had a monopoly to manufacture this drug. So with all these problems, we had the need of an hour is, A, we need a longer-acting drug, B, we need a single-dose drug administration, with no variation in dose regimens. We need something which is devoid of repeated administration, one time fits it all, and also efficacy as good as oxytocin or maybe superior, and also no receptor desensitization, and preferably superior side effect profile over oxytocin. So carbetocin fits the bill. It is basically a synthetic analog of human oxytocin only, with some structural modifications. Why these structural modifications were made? Just so as to increase the half-life of carbetocin, therefore prolonging its effect. So just if you see in one small corner, there is a OH is replaced by COH. So that is the only change. By modifying that. Yeah, the right hand corner, if you see the OH is replacing a O. So that is the only structural modification, which the small one is increasing the half-life and prolonging, just what we want. Next, Meenakshi. So how does it work? Similar, absolutely similar through oxytocin receptors. So makes the uterus contract, and it also has a uterotonic action, and it also has a little anti-hemorrhagic effect also. Next. Now coming to the mechanism of action, which I've already said, it is uterotonic and anti-hemorrhagic. Next. Now, if you were to compare, the very important point which I want to stress, even if one message goes through my lecture, it is this, that the half-life of carbetocin is 40 minutes, which is 10 times higher. Oxytocin is about 2 to 4 minutes, whereas carbetocin is 40 minutes. Duration of action lasts for almost 6 hours. So therefore, it is found that a single IV bolus is enough for almost 16 hours. It's equal to 16 hours of continuous oxytocin infusion, because half-life is 10 times higher, it's 40 minutes. And therefore, no repeat administration. And naturally, if you give one single dose, there is no dose variation between hospital A and hospital B, because a single dose is more than enough to control the PPH, unlike oxytocin. So therefore, it is superior with respect to its pharmacokinetic parameters and its ease of a single dose administration. Now, the only contraindication which we have to take care of is epilepsy. Also, before delivery, it may cause respiratory or cardiac distress, rarely in mothers or baby. And it is to be used with caution in women who are hypertensive, and especially women with eclampsia. It is to be used with caution. Now, coming to what it is, the WHO's model list of essential medicine has said that the safest and most effective medicines needed in a health system. So carbetocin has made it to this list of uterotonics for the prevention of postpartum hemorrhage. Next. And also, if you see the WHO recommendation on the use of uterotonics for the prevention of PPH, they have said that the use of an effective uterotonic for the prevention of PPH during third stage is recommended for all births to effectively prevent PPH. And they have advised to use either oxytocin, carbetocin, misoprostol, ergometrin, or the combination of ergometrin and symptometrin. And they have said that accepting the use of carbetocin in hypertensive patients, which is a control-specific recommendation, and use of methyl ergometrin combination with syntocinon, that is a control-specific in cases of hypertensive. Otherwise, it is strongly recommended to give these medicines as a case in case of prevention of PPH, as well as, mind you, both treatment. So as an AMTSL also, as well as in the treatment. Next. So it is used as an effective uterotonic, and it has been studied extensively throughout the world. I think almost 23 countries we have now reports that over 23 countries it is used, and since 2000 it is available over 23 countries. They have approved it for use for prevention as well as treatment of postpartum hemorrhage. Now, there are various trials have been done, and they have compared oxytocin with carbetocin, misoprostol with carbetocin, prostaglandin. So we will just go quickly one by one. There was this study about oxytocin versus carbetocin in third stage prevention of postpartum hemorrhage, and it was found to be effective. And next, and it was found to be not only effective, it, as you can see, 100 microgram slow IV over 1 minute versus 5 units of oxytocin slow IV over 1 minute. The outcome measures were incidence of PPH, the blood loss, and the need for additional uterotonic agents, and incidence of postpartum anemia and adverse effects. And next, they found that the incidence of atonic PPH in carbetocin was practically nil versus 6.3% in the oxytocin group. Next. Also, they found the postpartum blood loss was significantly less in the carbetocin group. Next. And additional uterotonics were also used to a lesser degree, only 9% versus 27% in the oxytocin group. Next. Anemia, again, less incidence than oxytocin. Next. So in a nutshell, it was more effective than IV oxytocin. A, it prevented atonic PPH better, less blood loss, less anemia, and less use of additional uterotonic agents. Next. Now, carbetocin versus oxytocin in the third stage of labor during vaginal delivery. Again, this studied the efficacy and safety in comparison to oxytocin in AMTSL following a normal vaginal delivery. Again, this was also similar results that carbetocin in the dose of 100 microgram IV given versus oxytocin 10 units intramuscular given within 1 minute of delivery of the baby. Same findings were found that the PPH was much less, massive blood loss was much less, transfusion much less, additional uterotonics much less compared to the oxytocin group, as well as the blood loss was also less, and no significant difference regarding the side effects. Next. So it was considered as good as oxytocin. Now coming to the role of carbetocin in preventing PPH, this was all we were doing AMTSL, that is a prevention after a normal delivery. Now we come to following cesarean delivery, and the clinical trials again, which have done randomized trial comparing carbetocin, misoprostol, and oxytocin for prevention of PPH following an elective cesarean. And as you can see, the carbetocin again IV 100 microgram versus IV 10 units oxytocin after the baby's delivery followed by 20 units solution versus misoprostol sublingually 400. Primary outcomes were atonic PPH necessitating additional uterotonic agents. And here they found that, as you can see in the carbetocin group, additional uterotonics were hardly, only 6% required additional. Whereas in oxytocin and misoprostol group, there were significantly more use of uterotonics, there was significantly more blood loss, and blood transfusion was also required more in the oxytocin and misoprostol group. So this is a very attractive outcome to be used in cesarean sections. Next. So here again, the twin pregnancies. Now the role of oxytocin versus carbetocin was studied in another scenario, that is cesarean section in twins. Again, as you can see, the additional uterotonics were used to a much lesser degree in the carbetocin group versus the oxytocin group, and blood loss was also much less. Next. Next, same thing it is said, single dose is more effective. So now prevention of PPH also, if you see, versus carbetocin versus both oxytocin and 400 microgram misoprostol before surgery and 10 units oxytocin IV after surgery. Also, we had similar results of decreased blood loss, decreased use of blood transfusion, and decreased use of additional uterotonics when you compare it. Next. Now, this is another study where they had at 3 arms, carbetocin versus oxytocin and ergometrin. Instead of oxytocin and misoprostol, here they used oxytocin and ergometrin, which is what we majorly use in our setup. And here also they found the blood loss, need of additional oxytocin was much, much, much less in the carbetocin group. So, as you can see, additional uterotonics only 27% versus 48% in the oxytocin and ergometrin group. And atonic PPH also 21% versus 39%. Next. Now coming to comparing carbetocin with 0.2 milligram of methyl ergometrin IV and 64 women with singleton pregnancy. Again, as you can see, the carbetocin group, the blood loss was to the tune of 146 ml compared to 312 ml in the methergine group. Next. So it is preferable in that. So according to the Cochrane collaboration, the conclusion was that women who undergo cesarean section, it had a similar efficacy but reduced pain perception in women who were at high risk of postpartum hemorrhage. Like we have seen under 10 women with elective C-section giving carbetocin versus oxytocin, and the VAS score was much less, the pain score was much less in the carbetocin group. So this was another additional benefit, that the single dose carbetocin was more effective in pain relief. Now coming to carbetocin versus oxytocin for postpartum hemorrhage, again same, another trial proving the same thing what I have already said. Next. Now this is another group, we have gone over twins, etc. Now here is a group with severe preeclamptic toxemia. They said that carbetocin 100 microgram plus ringalactate solution in a 10 ml ringalactate directly into the vein over 2 minutes versus oxytocin. Again, the difference of was significant between the duration, the quantity of blood loss and use of additional uterotonics were much less. Secondary outcome measures was the hemoglobin level, oliguria, hemodynamic status. Next. And it was found that, as you can see, the carbetocin group, there was hardly any use of additional uterotonics or blood transfusion or instrumental usage compared to the oxytocin group in these women with severe preeclampsia. Next. Now, the uncontrolled, the before and after study of carbetocin in addition to oxytocin decreases blood loss for cesarean in twin pregnancies. Next. Next. So hemoglobin change, as I said. So not only hemoglobin change, blood loss, uterotonic, everything was much less according to these studies. Next. Now, the ISWAG Virtual World Congress, which was held in 2020, also there was a paper here where they showed a comparison between carbetocin and oxytocin for prevention of PPH in cesarean deliveries in cases of placenta previa and accreta. And 240 women were randomized. 91 had a previa, 140 had a major placenta previa, and 9 had placenta accreta respectively. And in the carbetocin group, it was found that the PPH was in 14%, whereas oxytocin group, it was 34%. And additional uterotonics were used in 10% versus 30%. So, thank you. So, prevention of PPH using carbetocin versus misoprostol in patients with preeclampsia also, it was found to be more effective than misoprostol in preventing incidence of atonic PPH. So as you can see, it is more useful in preventing the PPH, prevents blood loss and prevents use of more uterotonic agent. So as far as comparison of carbaprost and carbetocin, now carbaprost is considered second line and it is not recommended by WHO in management of PPH, whereas carbetocin is first-line PPH and it is considered recommended by WHO in management of PPH, and not much severe vomiting, diarrhea, as we see with prostaglandin, lot of diarrhea, vomiting, fever, and it is also contraindication asthma, but carbetocin, they say, should be used with caution in asthma. So we have to ask history. Third stage of labor during vaginal delivery, again, it was proven with singleton and high-risk patients, preventing PPH following cesarean in high-risk C-section. So it was superior to oxytocin vis-a-vis all these endpoints which we have already discussed. Now coming to the Indian scenario, the champion trial, which was done at a multicentric trial, it was around 23 centers in 10 countries, and in India it was done in various colleges. It was in BHU, Karnataka and Cuttack, etc., where they had this trial, where they studied the heat stable carbetocin versus oxytocin to prevent PPH after birth, and they found it proved to be it was a non-inferiority trial. So it was non-inferior to oxytocin with use of single dose administration. Next, please. And also in the AICOG, it was proven that the superiority of carbetocin was also discussed at our AICOG in 2019 in atonic PPH. And it was also told that you see the 3 uterotonic agents which we are using, oxytocin, ergot alkaloids and prostaglandin. So it was very nicely proven that because of it is short half-life, oxytocin was not very useful. And also main thing is it is the heat sensitive. That is another thing in low middle income countries where we cannot maintain a cold chain. So there was a great need for us to develop a molecule which is not heat sensitive. So therefore we now have a new room temperature stable formulation, which is a boon because of a new excipient which has been added to it. So this is the product. As you can see, 100 microgram in 1 ml is there. You can dilute it in 10 ml and give over 1 minute for prevention as active management after the childbirth. And in cesarean section, 100 microgram should be administered intravenously as a bolus injection slowly over 1 minute after delivery of the child. And even vaginal delivery, same dose administered after the delivery of the baby in the AMTSL as a bolus injection, mind you, over 1 minute. So since it is 1 ml, it is recommended by the manufacturers to dilute it in 10 ml, and so that you can give it slowly over 1 minute. So to summarize, carbetocin is superior to oxytocin vis-a-vis the prevention of PPH, the blood loss, need for additional uterotonics, deviation in hemoglobin, need for blood transfusion, and even pain perception. The side effect profile is also there, which is namely nausea, vomiting, little pain, flushing. Some women also complain of warmth, itching, and headache and tremors, but they are very infrequent. And other side effects which have been studied are backache, dizziness, taste disturbances, little chest pain, dyspnea, chills. So people with asthma should be taken care of and given it carefully. And it causes little tachycardia. So women with hypertension, eclampsia, etc. Should be asked for this history carefully and given. And of course, ergot alkaloids, it really scores over ergot alkaloids vis-a-vis prevention of PPH and blood loss and additional agents and blood transfusion. And definitely better side effect profile. Next, please. Even if you compare head to head with the prostaglandins like misoprostol, again, drawbacks are, they are second line, you need multiple doses and a lot of vomiting, diarrhea, fever, which we face every day when we use misoprostol. Next, please. So, thank you very much. And Dr. Meenakshi, thank you so much for being so kind enough to do my slideshow. Thank you, Dr. Meenakshi. And thank you, Chairperson. And maybe we can have a discussion and, little thrash out the problems. And because I have frankly never used it. This is only the data and what I gathered from the net, what I have said. I have no personal experience as of now. We are trying to get it in Gangaram and try to use it. But as of now, I have not used it personally.
I can make an initial comment. This particular drug has been long awaited as far as the Indian markets are concerned. And in a government sector, naturally, once you push it, then it will take about 6 months to 1 year time. And that's the reason that, in the government sector, including All India Institute of Medical Sciences, this particular drug has not been used because it's not available. And the government guidelines have become very strict these days that whatever is available in your store, you should be using that and not ask any of your patients' relatives to get the drug, and that can be used. So whatever is data available is there in the private sector. One thing is good about it that not only one pharma company, 3-4 pharma companies are coming with the drug, and especially the Sun Pharma is doing a national launch on 14th of August as far as this drug is concerned. So I find, the cost is not much. The cost is just 300 rupees.
300, yes.
And I'm told whosoever is used it in the private sector, they are very happy. They're very happy. So anybody who's used and 300 rupees is not the constraint, then it's great. It's absolutely great. So I would like to hear if anyone who is chairing the session has had a personal experience, because whomsoever I've asked 2-3 people in Haryana, and they were very happy about it. So once we use it, we will come to know. I would like Dr. Umarai to, after your presentation, to see there are definitely good points, because this is definitely a primary, first line of drug. So, Dr. Umarai.
Okay, it is, but I haven't used it. Have you used it, Shada? No? Okay. Anyone used it? No. So it is, should be a wonderful drug, and with single dose, and the cost is also not much, and maintenance, like you don't need refrigeration and all those things, and side effects also aren't much. And Geeta, it had been really beautifully presented, and I really liked it, and learning from my own student, isn't it? It's great. It's great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Ila, anything from your side?
Actually, it was a great presentation, Dr. Geeta, and I was really happy that this drug is coming, and because there was a lot of shortage of oxytocin when it was prohibited in the market because of its sensitivity towards heat, and that's why it was to be kept at 2 to 8 degree temperature. But in various villages and everywhere, they didn't know about this, and they were using it, keeping it in the room temperature, and then it was ineffective. That's why there were more number of PPH cases in such remote areas. And I think this is a better medicine as far as it has to be used in everywhere. But as government has not still given a green signal for using in the government hospital and everywhere, so it will take some time. When in the private sector it is established and it is proved good, then it will be probably be popular in our country. And it was a long-awaited drug, of course, and now we are here to see its effect and use it in our practice. And Ferring and Sun Pharma is launching these drugs, and government has also said that eventually they will see the price of oxytocin and carbetocin is same, so that there is not any this thing out. So it's a good drug, and we are hopeful for having a better maternal mortality rate by preventing PPH.
Actually, ma'am, it has been available since 2000, since year 2000.
Yes.
It's 2 decades. 2 decades it has taken us to. Actually, now with this heat stable formulation, it's more relevant, I think, with the, even I could not say, but many of times in our setup also we found sisters just coming with Syntocinon, wo tray mein padi hai. It's not from the drawer, not from the door of the fridge she is getting.
Yes.
वो थोड़ा बाहर पड़ी रह गई, वो ही जल्दी में दे दी. So it's an effective one. So what I feel is that the heat stability component, because by adding this new excipient, this heat stability, the heat sensitivity which has gone, I think that's the game changer.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
long half-life, 40 minutes,
40
4 minutes
minutes.
oxytocin. Now you give one dose, forget it. It will be all right.
Yeah.
But they have not used it for MTP and abortions. As of now, there is no role in the MTP and abortions.
And not
So-
even for the induction of labor. It
Not
is-
on, no. Not for, it is just simply prevention, that is an
Okay.
AMT inside,
Yes.
and treatment.
Though prostaglandins, carbaprost is a very, very good drug as far as the PPH prevention.
मैडम ये सबका बाप है.
I know, ma'am, लेकिन अभी तक जो available है उसमें prostaglandin is a very good drug.
I was told whosoever used is continuously using it. It is that, unfortunately, people like us did not know about it, that this kind of drug is available. And once we came to know it is available, we said, okay, let our private sector people should know about this particular drug. And the fact it is available and more players are coming as far as this particular drug is concerned, this should be used more and more. And it will be just,
I want to say that I've seen that it is contraindicated in severe preeclampsia. But Dr. Geeta, you have told that it can be given.
Yes. Yes,
it has to be used with caution. Caution.
Caution, yeah. That's why I'm glad you brought out that point. And as Dr. Sharda Jain has said, with caution, even with asthma.
Yeah.
They say even with asthma, you can use it with caution. And also be sure that, initially we used to say ki it can be, it should be given as soon as the baby is born, before the placenta. Like Methergin, if you give,
Like
it shuts the
Methergin,
mouth,
anterior
it
shoulder.
shuts the cervix.
We used to
I
do
know.
that anterior shoulder.
Yeah. So this you can just, as soon as the baby comes out, it will not close the os. Like Methergin sometimes used to have retention of placenta. So this doesn't cause that, but it contracts the myometrial receptors. It acts directly on the myometrial receptors and contracts the myometrial cells. So there is no much sensitization. Like sometimes you give lots of oxytocin, uterus just doesn't, twins, triplets, hele ki tarah pada rehta hai. This has no desensitization effect. So as ma'am said, it's a boss. It's the boss.
It's a boss.
नहीं यूज करना पड़ेगा. See, अगर हमें 10
बिल्कुल
मिनट में यूज करेंगे तो भी पता चल जाएगा कि भाई इससे
Absolutely. And ma'am, 23 countries, 20 years of experience. WHO has recommended it. I don't know where is the hitch. It was the availability. Now it is freely available. Surely we can use it. Surely. And only thing is you can dilute, because 1 ml to give over 10 minutes is very tedious. So you can dilute it for convenience in 10 ml of water for injection. And over 1 minute you can inject, because 1 ml over 1 minute has to be given.
It can be given intramuscular also.
It can be given intramuscular.
डॉक्टर
But I
ज्योति
think
भास्कर आप अपने अस्पताल में ले उसको.
Haji ma'am, definitely. When I was working in Ireland also, that time it was being used, but they had been mainly using it during the cesarean by the anesthetist, mainly for the prevention. Instead of the oxytocin, they were giving carbetocin at that time. So what, maybe I'm not too correct, but what I feel or understand about it is that it's predominantly been investigated, all the trials are mainly on the prevention. So as far as the treatment of a PPH, whatever trials you did present, I think the treatment was not so much as far as specific is concerned. More role is in prevention. That's why when we compare with prostaglandin is for treatment. But for the prevention, carbetocin has a major role to play. But another thing, if Dr. Geeta, you've done an extensive study on it. Suppose I have given a carbetocin to a patient, and I find that within 2 to 4 minutes, we should get a response. So we did see it about 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes. If the patient is not responding, it's still having PPH, what is the next drug do they recommend along with that? Do they say you go on to misoprost, or should you use the prostaglandin, or what exactly is the combination of these studies they have mentioned?
yeah. Thanks for that question, Jyoti. Very relevant question, because the studies which I've quoted, they have used the incidence of extra drugs. So the use of carbetocin, which if failed, they used the ergot alkaloids or misoprostol, not prostaglandins. At least those studies which they have used. But of course, the usage was much less.
The studies are
in the
Methergin,
yeah.
or
Methergin, yeah, methyl, because that causes a tonic contraction. that causes the tonic contraction of the uterus. So when the carbetocin failed, they used that or misoprostol.
And they also say that you concurrently you should not use other drugs because it can lead to too much of uterine contractions and sometimes rupture also.
Yeah, concurrently they said this is the standalone drug which should be used. Concurrently, if you have to use, you can use a ergot because oxytocin use करने का तो कोई फायदा है नहीं. The same receptors are being utilized in this by carbetocin also.
And second thing
Dr.
that I just
Meena?
wanted to like you to.
Pardon me? Sorry, Jyoti.
The other thing I was
Hello?
talking about the oxytocin when we talk about the stability of oxytocin. So it is said that if
Yeah.
you get the oxytocin out, you can keep it out at 25 degrees for 3 months. After 3 months, it loses its action. So you need to actually throw it off after 3 months. So that still
Yes,
gives you a little
yes.
time. So in our hospital, we've told our staff nurse because whenever you have an emergency tray, they are keeping an oxytocin over there. So we tell them to put the date and exactly it's taken out and 3 months later discard and get the new one to be put onto that.
Yeah.
So carbetocin definitely has a big advantage because it's heat stable. So like misoprost came in because it was heat stable, easily available anywhere. So I think
Right,
carbetocin
absolutely
will
right. Yeah. So even if this can be stable, the one heat stable one they said for 3 to 6 months, 30 degrees, which says the Delhi temperature, up to 3 to 6 months, 30 degrees. But if it is 40 degrees, then it decreases to about one month.
Dr. Vandana? Madam, unmute करिए.
Ma'am, heat stability is the USP of this drug, and it's acting like oxytocin, which we have used over the periods and in a lot of indications. And this is only for prevention of postpartum hemorrhage, and not to be used for induction like we are using oxytocin for induction of labor as well. So the only bottom line is it should not be used in other indications where oxytocin is being used. And it is only for prevention of PPH, and the studies say we have not used it personally. Although today Abbott also came and saying that they are also launching this drug. So it should be freely available and should come into our armamentarium so that we can use it in future all the time.
I can share the person's name who can supply it at your place. I will share it in the group, the number of Mr. Suresh. The only disadvantage which I see is that this drug has to be used intravenously.
No, IM also is written, ma'am.
Huh?
IM use also is written.
Yes,
But,
but,
you know,
which is not like a misoprost, that you can push it in the vagina or per rectum or give it orally.
Yeah.
So that is the only one can say about it. But otherwise, as far as the field trials are concerned, whether it's a Bangladesh, whether it is in Middle East, and
Yes,
you cannot
IV.
install advantage.
Ma'am, I want to know what is the maximum dose? Like we are using it for prevention of
Single
single
dose.
dose.
Single
Can we
dose.
use a 14 dose if
Single
it
dose.
Single dose.
100 micrograms, nothing more.
ये फेल हो जाएगा तो आपको एडिशनली यूज करने पड़ेंगे इसको
Other
नहीं.
drug.
Dr. Meena, you want to say something? I think today had been a great sensitization. Meena, you want to say something?
Ma'am, it is coming with the name of keratin. Keratic.
वो डॉक्टर साहब वो ला रहे हैं. आज ही तो बिन्सर वाले लोग हैं, इनकी बात करो डॉक्टर साहब. इनका ड्रग बताया, इसने नाम दिया है. सो जब वो आएगा तब देखा जाएगा.
Can I have carbicin?
Today's name is carbicin.
Carbicin.
Okay.
So I think it has been absolutely great, Dr. Geeta. We really enjoyed today's presentation. A lot of sensitization. See, all your teachers and everybody did not know anything about it.
मैम जो आपने पढ़ाया है उसका क्या हुआ? इतना सारा जो आपने विद्या दान हमें दिया है,
नहीं वो सब ठीक है, पर कोई नई चीज आ जाए उसको पता होना भी बहुत जरूरी है डॉक्टर साहब.